What's up, everyone? Mike Tromello here with my brother Daniel Tromello, and we are doing the first ever Tromello Brothers podcast. It's the Power Hour. We're fired up about it. We're going to talk about a couple things today. First thing we're going to talk about is kind of like who we are and who the Tromello family is, essentially. And we're going to talk about what makes you wealthy, and that has nothing to do with money. We're going to get into a little bit of health and fitness, and you're just going to learn about who we are and why we're doing this for this first hour.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about it. This is something we've been talking about for a while, and ultimately partnering with Breaking Muscle and getting this information out there, we think is so important. And we run around every day, and there's people come to Mike and I all the time for mentorship and guidance about different aspects of life, of wealth, fitness, any kind of mentorship. And so we want to get some information out there. Our family heritage is interesting. So, but kind of introduction. I'm Daniel. Obviously, that's Mike, but our background is pretty different. And it kind of came from Mike. You did a study about our background a long time ago. Like what exactly? Where the hell did we come from?
Yeah, so funny story, guys. So honestly, for people that don't know, I was actually a history major in my bachelor's degree. Yeah. So I actually didn't have anything to do with health and sciences until I got into my master's program, and et cetera after that. So I started off as a high school history teacher, and I had to do a senior thesis. Essentially, I chose to do it on our family history and how they came to Ellis Island. Long story short, our family actually came from Sicily. My dad's family actually came from Sicily in twice, 1911 and 1914. Our great-grandfather, Giuseppe Tromello, came over, and Giuseppe, yes, Tromello, not Tromello, Tromello. Yeah. And came over in 1911 to work and make money for his family and then bring money back to his wife in Sicily. He did so in 1911 and then came back again in 1914 after going back and bringing money back, this time without his wife. And this might piss some of our viewers off, but he did not get his name changed at Ellis Island. He decided to change our name to Tromello. No, he decided to change our name to Tromello.
I didn't know that.
In the courthouses of New York. And there's all these theories why. And our family, as I'll go into in a sec, who doesn't like to talk about it much, our family says they don't like to admit it, but says it was because to get away from his wife in Sicily.
No way.
He actually changed his name to Tromello, and that's how we are the Tromello family now in the States.
It's crazy because everyone has a name. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
You look at his story, and I remember he was doing like bootlegging and some crazy stuff.
Yes.
So what the hell was he doing?
So everyone knows about the Prohibition era in the 1920s, right? And our great-grandfather was actually part of the Sicilian mob. The Sicilian mafia became very popular in New York in the 1920s, 1930s due to Prohibition. The way that they became large was they sold and gave out alcohol. Right. Our great-grandfather was one of the original makers of the alcohol that the Sicilian mafia distributed amongst New York City.
It's so funny because when it comes to like heritage and things like that, I'm always interested. Like I used to not care about where we came from, but then I'm like, what makes me me? I always ask people, what makes you you? A lot of times, if you look back of like your genealogy of where you came from, it's funny. We came from a mob boss that came over here to get away from his wife.
Sort of, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got their family story because we're all immigrants to this country.
Yes.
And it's like stories like that like make me realize like why sometimes I make more decisions that I make. And I think this kind of gets into like kind of what we want to talk about and on the show in general for Power Hour is like why you do what you do too.
Yep.
But so anyway, you left the Prohibition. He was doing that. What the hell?
So he did that for a long time. Then he had his family. He had I actually don't know exactly how many kids, but I believe it was our grandfather and then 2 girls. I think it was 3 kids total. Might have been 4. It's kind of shaky on that. And then from there, he ended up dying sometime in the 1930s of throat cancer or from breathing in the fumes from the mixing of the alcohol. That's the story anyway. And there's a lot of, my family might say I'm wrong, whatever, but that's what I learned from actually reading archives in the newspapers and finding his death certificate. But there's a lot of stuff. And I wrote this thesis about, I'm coming up on a while now, almost 15 so years ago. So my memory could be a little off, but I'm pretty positive that's how it started. And our grandfather, our father's father, was a loan shark for the Sicilian mafia. And he went around literally breaking knees and collecting money. And that was his job.
Holy
and
shit.
That's how our dad got brought into the world. And then, but our parents and our family stayed out of the mafia.
Yeah.
But they were protected in the streets, that you've seen probably in various movies, by the mob in those small streets.
What's funny is our parents loved to travel. I remember they went back to Sicily. It was like something like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something. And they went to the town that actually was where our heritage was from.
Yeah, Cerro de Falco. Cerro de Falco.
Yeah,
I believe so.
And there's a town named Tromello.
And there's a town named Tromello in northern Italy, and he took our name. Most likely, he took the name Tromello from a town in northern Italy.
Got it.
Because it was not Sicilian; it's northern Italian.
So my parents show up there, and they didn't know anybody, and they said they were kind of getting looked up and down. But the crazy thing is, they were literally bussed in and out by a big crew of people.
Yes.
And they're like, you're very special in this area. It's really funny because
once they said the name, they realized who they were, and they were taken care of.
And they stayed there for a week at their house. It's just crazy because, like, you know, where we come from, everyone's from somewhere. And that's kind of like Mike and I's personality, like very alpha male.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, and it's funny because growing up with you, you was literally 100 pounds bigger than me.
Always.
And it could literally break me in half.
Yes.
But I'd fight with him. Fight with me. Like we're brothers.
Yeah.
But we always respected each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, honestly, Mike didn't talk. Our great grandfather was a Golden Gloves champion.
Yes.
Our grandfather was a Golden Gloves champion.
Our grandfather was a Golden Gloves champion.
And an athlete. He's also a prick, but that's for another time. Like, that's where our background is.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, growing up in this society right now, we were just having a conversation yesterday about, you know, what makes somebody happy and wealthy and free. I'm kind of getting our topic today about, you know, and it's crazy because, look, like, you're tossing to your kid like all these things about conforming to society. Yeah. And, you know, getting a job, whatever, like going to school. There's nothing wrong with those things. No. But oftentimes we're in our 30s or early 30s. Yeah. Like, how many people do we know are unhappy with their lives? Well,
the thing is it's about conforming to societal norms, right? Everyone has to conform to society. You do the right things because that's what you're supposed to do. And everyone goes, I'm going to grow up and I want to make a lot of money, or I want to do the rat race deal. And that's all fine. But I've always been a little different than my brother in this regards, is that I've never valued my worth based on how much money I wanted to make. I never had that motion. I always said I wanted to be a teacher, and everyone's like, you're not gonna make any money doing that. I was like, yeah, but I don't care. I just want to be happy. I just want to be a teacher. And that's always what I've said growing up. And all my friends, they've all done really well. My brother's done well for himself, but I still have stuck to my molds, and I've done well for myself. Yeah. And you know, and it came down to one clear thing that I believe my brother really understood stands now after having his son who's now a year old. So this last year, there's been a growth period that he's gone through, and I went through it about 2 years ago. Yeah. And what happens is that you start understanding that wealth has nothing to do with money. Right. Once you have children, wealth has everything to do with spending time with your children. That is wealth. A smile on their face is $1 million.
Right. No, I agree. Like, yeah, no, prior to having my son, like, I was I think everyone's this way. You're very selfish. You don't realize how selfish you are until you have kids, in a way. Like, and even with, like, my reason now for working out and staying healthy is not even to, like, look, like, used to be aesthetically, hey, I want to look good. I want to have muscles. I want to be strong. But now it's like, dude, I want to live a long fucking life so I can watch my kids graduate, my kids graduate, and be a great, you know, and live till 100 years old. Yeah. Versus, hey, I want to look good today working out in the gym. Yeah. I used to be like, I think, and because the most valuable currency you have in life is your time. And we would talk about this all the time. It's like, what's your most valuable currency? And most people, right now they're on a 405 driving to work, or they're sitting at their office right now in their house. And they're like, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. Like, every time I walk into my office, I have a financial company, but I own it. So every time I walk into my office, the dude at the front desk goes, I'm like, how's your day? He goes, oh man, it's Tuesday. I'm like, how's your day? He goes, oh, it's Thursday. Yeah. And he goes, how's your day? And he goes, it's Friday. I'm like, dude, every time he says that, I go, dude, every day is Friday. Every day is Friday. And unfortunately, like, everybody works for the weekend. Yeah. And then they get limited time with their kids. And and they don't really, like, there's no, you know, and they're limited time for, like, and then they go to happy hour. It's really like escape hour. Yeah, like, it really is. It's escape. Yeah, it's escape from reality. You know, and I want to go drink for an hour. Yeah, and that's what and I'm a CrossFit guys, and I feel like I do the same thing for people. Like, I decided to make my CrossFit in the afternoon happy hour of fitness for my clients, and where they come for that 1 hour and just get it out, whatever's drama or whatever stress is going on in their life, and they have a good workout. Right. But going on what Daniel said about it every day being Friday, I have to. Right. I mean, I did
my brother has actually always has been independent his entire life. He came out, I'm going to be a personal trainer. Every career he's ever had since he graduated college has revolved around his own time and making his own financial, his own money financially and not working for somebody. Yeah. I didn't do that. I went a different route. I went into the educational system for a long time. I was a strength coach at Occidental College. I was a strength coach at Harvard Westlake for 9 years. I had arguably one of the best strength and conditioning jobs in the nation. And they paid the most you could get. It's one of the most elite private schools you could ever have. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he had like at that school. Who'd you have? You had like
I coached
like how many? No, I think like the kind of celebrities that.
God, we had Joe Torre's daughter was one of them.
Torre's daughter.
Michael Chiklis's kids went there. If you like Blink-182.
Will Ferrell's kid?
Will Ferrell's kid was applying for the school at the time.
Like the Richie
kids. But these kids are great kids, and the school was great, and the way that they the money they gave us to do whatever we could possibly have imagined, it was endless, and I was not happy.
Right.
Because I saw myself going there at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, getting up at 5 to drive an hour down the 405, like some of you might be doing. And then I was working till about 3, 4 o'clock, and then coming to my gym, Precision CrossFit, and running my gym till 8:30 at night, and not seeing my kids.
But here's the thing too, is even though you had your thing, you were working, you always had a side business.
Yes.
And I remember growing up, I remember you working
all the time,
and then you'd go bartend on the weekends.
Yep. I would always do that. So I always hustled. Yeah, that's true. And like, that's something to forget. I've always been a hustler.
Yeah.
And I never wanted, my big original thing was I never wanted for my money to be an issue. Like when people said, how much is I never wanted to balance a checkbook. And it had nothing to do with the fact that I didn't know how to do it. I just didn't want to. I wanted to pay the bills and not think about it. And so I was like, I'll just work a lot. I'll just work as many jobs as I can to have money, right? When I was in high school, I wanted to take I was a 3-sport athlete. I wanted to take my girlfriend to prom. I wanted to be like, I'll buy that nice tux and I'll have that. And I because I worked at this place and that place, worked for my dad on the weekends, and I just worked, and I was a 3-sport athlete. So I've always been like that. And then I realized after I had my kids that I need to stop being that. And I still do multiple things. I still have multiple irons in the fire, as they say.
Right.
As I guess my wife calls me a fitness personality at this point, even though I am a strength and conditioning coach, and I stick by that.
Right.
But I feel like I would rather lose money and spend more time with my family than make more money and not see them, because there's no point to that anymore.
Right. 100%, 150%. I mean, and every choice that I think people make, like any people they're not a product of their circumstances. They're a product of their choices.
Yes.
Like, and people think they're stuck in a certain circumstance, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is my certain circumstance, so I can't get out of this box."
Yeah.
And I fought with that. I think everyone fights with
Everyone
that.
does.
But it's like, but you're a product of your choices, and at any time you can choose to get out of your circumstance. Hey, I'm going to walk in, and even it comes to just getting my butt in the gym.
Yeah.
Working out was always a habit of ours. I think growing up playing sports.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was like we grew up playing sports, and it's like there's never when you're playing sports, and most people can attest to this. Hey, there's no hey coach, I don't feel good today, I'm not going to practice. Like it's raining outside.
You practice.
You just go to practice.
Times have changed a little bit. Well, but when we played, it was you showed up no matter what.
We were football players. We were football players. We ended up playing. We played professionally.
Yeah.
We had great careers, but the one thing about, I think the major thing about most people in their life is they when they don't feel good, they just don't do anything, or they don't go to the gym, they don't exercise, they don't eat right, they let their emotions get in the way of imagine if we let our emotions get away, whether or not we show up to practice that day, or it's like you just show up.
Well, I always quote my favorite quote from my favorite movie, Shawshank Redemption: "Get busy living or get busy dying."
Right.
And I say that all the time, and I think it's the greatest quote I've ever heard. And I don't want to piss my wife off about this when I say this, because she's probably listening to this podcast, but I
don't want to piss her off.
I don't want to piss her off, but it's not her, but I see a lot with her family. I see a lot of dying. And I see a lot of people not taking care of themselves and not, and she has lost a lot of amazing family members due to cancer and various things. And I see sedentary lifestyle. I see not taking care of themselves and a lot of things. And it's almost like they don't realize it, but they're getting busy dying.
Right.
They're not getting busy living. And then as they age, I've been with my wife, my beautiful wife, since we were high school sweethearts. So we're going on 19 years together.
I was thinking that the other day. You guys were together. I was 12.
Yeah, my brother was 12 when we got together.
Next week.
Yeah, it's insane. So more than half our lives, way more than half our lives. And I've seen her family for almost 20 years. I've seen them age, and they have some have aged beautifully and some have not aged at all, or had the opportunity to age.
Right.
And there's a lot to be said about that.
No, I completely agree. And it's the thing is, people, they work their lives away doing things they don't want to do for somebody else that's making someone else happy. But they never like to the core do anything. Most people never really make a decision for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you do that over and over again, you get really worn down, like 55, 60 years old. And you almost like, you don't want death to happen, but you're unfortunately
looking for it.
Waiting for it.
And I see, and I owning Precision CrossFit guys, as everyone knows me as if in the fitness world, I train a lot of high level masters CrossFit Games athletes that are pushing 50. I just coached Greg Smiley at Wadapalooza, who's 50 years old. The guy looks like he's early 40s. He's got a six pack. He's ripped. I coached Allison Locke along with Jose Cobian at the CrossFit Games. She's 62.
Right.
These people are in incredible shape.
I used to have a fear because of turning like 30 and 40.
Yeah, because it's old.
Well, you know what it was is like all of our parents' friends. They're all great people.
Yeah.
They like I'm for them, not all of them, but for the most part, fitness wasn't a big part of their life. Or like doing something for themselves wasn't a big part of their life. Like they're like kind of in the system of working jobs, hanging on the weekends with my parents and family and everything. And I used to be like, man, 40 scares me.
Yeah.
30 scares me.
Yeah.
And now it's funny, we're in our 30s. I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
But it's like, and because it's what you eat and your health and everything, and you can control that.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm okay with turning 35 or 40 or it doesn't, I used to be scared.
And it's interesting because Daniel and I are products of our parents, and let's talk about health, right? Our mom's a nurse practitioner. She has a very, very, very good, amazing practice in Uray Park.
Yes, yes.
She is a functional medicine provider. She understands nutrition. She understands the healing process more like anybody I've ever met. We grew up with that as our mother, right? Our dad is a blue collar air conditioning contractor who owns 2 companies, also a home inspection company.
Yeah.
And no matter what, it's all about hard work.
All about hard work.
All about hard work. You used to make my brother and I work on.
Insane amount of hard work.
Yeah, and still at 67 years old, refuses to get help, still goes and installs, condensers and air conditioning units, and refuses to retire because he's no matter. And he says he needs to retire. You ask him why he hasn't retired, and then he goes, "Well, I need to do something." So like we're a product of that health and wellness and hard work.
And both of them are small business owners.
Yes, and that's why we own small businesses.
And I think the unique part about it is I never grew up actually wanting to own a business. I never put 2 and 2 together of like, oh, my parents own a business, but then you realize that my parents they picked us up from school every day.
Yeah,
we didn't, you know what I mean? Like they were there every freaking football game, and basketball game, and baseball game, and soccer game. They never missed any important event.
Anything. And
it was like, and the major reason why is they had control of their schedule.
They control their schedule. And that's, I'll never forget that. I remember, Europe, we played in Europe, and they flew to see overseas and watched us play overseas, like multiple times. And it's just like, that shows like in that, when I was going to look to leave Harvard Westlake to run my gym, I realized why they did that.
Yeah,
why
at the time, they were just, think about it. I wasn't thinking about it.
We forget our dad started as LAUSD as the head of maintenance, and he worked for someone for years before we moved to Uray Park when we were kids, 9 years old. So he missed a lot of stuff. Our mother was worked for UCLA as a nurse and various different places. And she worked for a private medical practice when we first got to Uray Park. She didn't actually have her own practice until I was going into my senior year of high school. Wow. So I remember my mom missed a lot of my Thursday night JV football games, quite a bit. So they actually decided, obviously, to spend more time with their kids, and they went off and did their own businesses. And our dad did it as soon as we moved out to Uray Park as kids, and he was around for everything, filming all of our games and the stands for everything, didn't miss a thing. Our mom made whatever she could, and then once she got her own practice, she didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to our point of like, for people that are kind of tuning in or wanting to hear about what we're going to be discussing a lot in the show is how to do a lot of these things and the
Yes.
tangibles of getting out of your situation, not just intangible stuff of high level crap, but like real tangible information to help you make better decisions or be a better parent or be a better father or be a better mother or start exercising more often.
Yeah.
Diet stuff. I mean, that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And how to just, because like really the whole point of this is, you know, obviously the more healthy you are and the more time you have, the more time you will have and the more health you will have, so you can spend more time with your family and do the things you really want to do. Like, and this is a real thing. Like if you were given 6 months to live at this point, I think about this all the time. What would I do with my time?
I do think about that quite a bit too. It sucks. I don't really like to have that more thought, but I do think about it all the time.
Well, the answer is, I think for you, I think for me, kind of at that point is exactly what I'm doing right now.
I have a totally different point of view. I would empty out my bank account and I would and I would run up some credit cards and I would go live my life and do things that I've always wanted to do with my kids. I think I would travel all around the country. I think I would, and the world. I think I would just not work at all. I think I would just spend those last 6 months doing whatever the heck I wanted to do with my family and soaking up every single moment of it. I honestly, guys, and I run a successful gym and I love coaching all the athletes I have, but I don't actually like working.
But here's what's funny about that.
Yeah.
Is as hard as you and I work, because I work hard.
Yes,
like,
we both work very hard.
We're always constantly doing something.
Yeah.
We're actually naturally pretty lazy people.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like we'd rather sit on our ass.
Yes.
Maybe work out and hang out.
Yes.
And then go do nothing.
Well,
and be with our, hang out
with
our
family.
Obviously.
Well, it's incredible. Like my wife and I've realized this, and I've always been this way. And right now I'm very centric on the show, and I'm very outgoing, but I'm actually extremely introverted.
Yeah, you are.
I would love to just be by myself.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, like, Mike, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
My wife, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I nothing.
Nothing.
I don't want to hang out with any of you. I want to go and do whatever the hell I want by myself that day. Yeah. And that's how I am. That's how I'm wired. I can socialize when I want to socialize, and I can turn it on and off. And my brother, though, has never been that way. No. He's always been outgoing. He's always been the life of the party. He's always been in your face since he was a kid. He would moon me. Whenever I saw him, I saw his bare ass all the time, and that's him. Yeah. So we've always been very different in that regards.
Yeah. No, I think too I helped bring you out of your shell.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, that's what needed to happen. I think that's why
part of why we're so close.
That's definitely why we're so close, because we are very opposite in that
in a lot of ways.
And that's something to go on top is that why are we doing the show, guys? Well, we are really close. And anyone who knows us growing up, known that one is never too close, never too far from the other. Never. You got beef with one, you got beef with two. Like, you never mess with one or the other, because the other one's going to show up.
That's right.
And it was going to be hell to pay.
Yeah. I think there's a funny story. Like when we were it was like first grade or something.
Oh yeah.
Something stupid. I actually don't remember this. You remember this?
I remember it. I was in fourth grade.
You were in fourth grade. I was in first grade.
Yeah.
Somebody like said something to you?
No, somebody he was going to the bathroom in elementary school, and he was a first grader, so he pulled his pants down. My 6-year-old son does this. He's in kindergarten. He pulls his pants all the way down and takes a pee, which is it's funny, right? But and he's urinating, and one of my fourth grade douchebags at the time, the guy's a great guy now, but anyway, goes in there and pushes him over, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But I happened to be by the doors somehow, and I saw him push my little brother over with his bare pants, bare butt on the ground, and I took care of that shit. Yeah. I was 9 years old. I was like, oh hell no.
And there's countless stories like
that. Countless stories like that, that we can't go into.
You invested one, but we're the same way in life and business. Yeah. I think too like you get the full package in a lot of ways, and like we've always done stuff together. But the importance of that is like, I think when you're raising your family that way, I think it's important to keep your family close. Yes. We're fortunate our parents never separated or got divorced. Mm-mm. Like 50% of people get married today get divorced. Yeah. And most of the reasons why is probably money and health, I would think. And like there's financial issues, there's challenges, and then there's infidelity and stuff like that. But there's a lot of it's just the major core issues people have. Yeah. Is most people, if they don't feel good about themselves, they're not going to feel good in a relationship. Yes. It's like most people are in relationships, and the major thing is they say like I struggle with relationships. It's like before you fix each other, you got to fix yourself. Yeah. And I always tell people this all the time. Is like whenever you ever been on an airplane before, most people have, right? Yeah. I've been on an airplane before, and then do they go through the emergency exits, and they say, here's this exit, here's that exit, here's how you put on your stupid seatbelt, right? And then they say, what do they say? They say, when the masks come down, who do you put a mask on first? The kid next to you, or you put it on yourself? And the answer,
supposed to put it on yourself, I think.
Put it on yourself.
Yeah.
But like, that's a major thing is everybody wants to, they want to put the mask on this and the mask on that and fix the problem. But the major thing is they never fix themselves. And it's like, that's the major, for me, like I'm huge on personal development and teach people how to fix themselves. I think is the ultimate thing. And being a good athlete too, and being good in life, or being a good parent, or being a good mom is like, you have to fix you.
Yeah.
That's the major thing. And nobody wants to do that.
And
everyone wants the quick fix.
It's one of the things
everyone else.
It's one of the things I'm constantly fighting with my CrossFit athletes. It's like, you guys have got to understand that mentally you have to be stronger than the next person next to you, and it has nothing to do with your physical abilities. And I'm constantly trying to pull the most out of them mentally. And I know there's some great coaches that talk about, like Ben Bergeron's one of them. He has an amazing book about how to do that. But I've always been trying to do that. I've never put it into words, but and that's something I'm dealing with my members of my gym all the time, is how to mentally make them stronger. And how can I write something? Can I say something to somebody that day? How can I pull this person out of their shell? How can I make them part of my community?
Do you think mental toughness can be developed?
I think mental toughness can be developed, but I also think mental toughness has to be there listen, if you come to a place and you're very mentally weak, odds are that something wasn't done well while you were growing up.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's some insecurities there. Something went down. Something maybe is a divorced household. I don't know. Maybe the parents weren't so positive by growing up. There's a lot of reasons. We came from a very positive household. Our mom was extremely positive. In my opinion, my dad, who's an amazing man, was not. I don't want to say he was negative, but he pushed us. He pushed the shit out of me. I mean, but because of that, it's who we are. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
I think but I think too is like, I think mental toughness can be developed. I think if you're around other mentally tough
people, yes.
And I think what happens is most people, if you're the strongest person in the room or the biggest mentality, you're not in the right place actually.
Yeah.
To get better at anything, like I remember when I was playing football and basketball, I needed to be around people that were better than me, or I would drop to their level.
Yep. Very true.
And most people mentally, it's the same thing. It's like if I'm, and the cool thing about being in a CrossFit environment or gym environment, if I want to get strong, I need to lift with strong people because they're going to push me on the weights. Yeah. And mentally, most people, but where do we gravitate to? Where we feel best.
Where we feel best.
We don't feel best in an environment where we're the weakest or where we're the.
And that's what tends to, like, guys, if anyone knows Team Precision CrossFit, we've gone to regionals every single year. We do really well local competitions. We're a very competitive team. We've had national weightlifters. We are a very decorated gym, and I try and dumb that down a lot actually, because I don't want to scare people off or make them sound conceited, but it is what it is. And the reason
if you want to get good,
if you want to get good, you need to train with like-minded people that are better than you, people that are awesome. And I've had so many people, great athletes, walk into this gym. I mean, I'll give you one that's going to be a guest on our show in a couple episodes. It's going to be Hunter McIntyre. He's one of the best Spartan racers in the world, and he's training at Precision. I'm coaching him, and
he's one of the best. He's one of the best in the world. If you're one of the best in the world, anything, obviously you're not scared of pushing yourself, and you have a freakish mentality,
and you're humble, and you want to get better, and you want to train with people that are better than you, or that are going to push you to that level.
That's right.
And he's one of those guys, and I can name every single person on my team right now or that high level CrossFit in this gym that's the same mentality. They came here to be pushed by the person next to them. And I can also name several people that have come to this gym who have left and or have not made it longer than a week or two because they want to be a big fish in a small pond.
Right.
They don't want to swim with the sharks.
And here's what happens. So you only get better at swimming with the sharks by swimming with the sharks.
Exactly.
And it's like, I think that mentality too, it's like, if I want to get into business, or if I feel comfortable in a meeting, I'm not in the right meeting.
That's a very good point.
But people's their ego gets in the way of that happening. And they're like, well, I want to be, I need to be, it's like, no, dude, you need to feel seriously awkward. If I'm next to, if you're like, it's, for example, out of shape right now, you're like, no, I really need to drop some weight. And, if you Or if, like, say you're not eating healthy. Dude, if you ever gone to lunch with a dude that looks ripped and then orders a salad and you ordered a burger and you're like, I feel like a shit.
Yeah, I feel horrible.
By the way, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Like, you need to see that. And one thing I talk about all the time a lot in my business, or just in general, is you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around most. Mm-hmm. And so if I took like the average income, fitness level, family life of the 5 people you're constantly around, mm-hmm. if you took the average, you're exactly in that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if I even said, let's use like a fitness level, for example. If I took, okay, this person, the 5 people I'm around the most, and I said, okay, that person's, they're in decent shape, that person's in great shape, whatever, I'm literally exactly in there.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like, how do I it's not that you leave your friends behind or leave other people behind, but to make better decisions, you got to be around better people.
Yeah.
And they're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a story, a little small story kind of about that recently. It just happened. I was at a great competition this weekend called the Beachside Beatdown, run by a good friend of mine, Nathan Dowd, and raised money for the Thomas Fire victims. And one of my best teams, they're crushing it. One of the athletes goes down, right? Hurts himself. And right. I decided, I got permission by other athletes that wanted to see me throw down to jump in for the last workout. I jumped in for the last workout. And I threw down. We ended up taking first place overall. In the competition. I helped us get third in that workout, me and the other partner. I threw down just as well as I've always thrown down in a competition. I was a regional athlete in CrossFit, and so everyone's super shocked. Like, oh my God, you can do pull-ups, you can do chest bar pull-ups, like a lot of them in a row. You're such a big guy, blah blah blah, all these things. Oh my God, you're a really good CrossFitter. And I go, man, 5 people. I train with this guy all the time. He's a freaking freak. I can literally name the amount of workouts I beat him on because I know exactly when they happen. He goes, when did that happen? I know there's like 10 in like 7 years. There's like 10. So I know exactly when they did because I remember when I beat him. I don't care if he's one-armed or one-legged, the fucking win's a win. Yeah. And I say that. And I also train every day with a guy named Peter Chiavelli, who was an elite water polo player at Stanford, who's got an engine for days.
Like the best school in the country.
Only one of the best schools for water polo, yeah. And he's an animal, right? And then I train with like Greg Smiley, he's a CrossFit Games athlete, he's a 50-year-old. There's 3 guys right there.
Think about people that want to expand their life. If they don't have access to those people, how do they find them?
How do they find them, right?
That's the major thing is how do they find them for everything, right? Maybe, hey, look, dude, I want to start making better money. I need to be around people that know how to make money. Or if I want to have a better family life, where do I go to find that? Where do people go? Yeah.
Well, so hold on. So going on back on my story, guys, what Daniel was saying, my point is the 3 people I train with the most, and I also train with our GM, Jose Cobian, who's a 3-time regional athlete, and our other athlete, Tom Cordona, who's a police officer, who's a great athlete. Hey. I name all 5 of those guys that I train with all the time. Well, I'm going to do pretty freaking good in a competition. Jumping in, I'm going to be ready to go because I train with great athletes all the time.
But here's the thing: where do you go to find it?
Where do you go to find it? You have to go look for it. Like you have to go. Like right. Peter and I hit it off. We became good friends. I look to train with him. I make my time to train with him. My brother is now more available. He was working a lot. He's like, hey, I want to work out these dates. I will make the time to train with him to make myself better.
And that goes back to because most people I talk to, like a lot of times, just say, hey, I don't have time. Man, this sounds good. I don't have time. And it's like, here's the major thing that I'll tell people is that's complete bullshit because time's a matter of priority. So if someone says I don't have time or I don't have time to exercise or I don't have time to do the business after work, man.
Yeah.
Or like they're lacking a lot of motivation, but they're lacking a reason why they want to do it.
Yeah.
But time's just a matter of priority. Like what you prioritize, you get done.
Yeah.
Like dude, when the mortgage or rent comes up at the end of the month, you somehow find a way to pay it.
Somehow do.
Mostly.
Well, what I tell people all the time, you got 24 hours in a day, you need to max 8 hours of them to sleep.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. That's 16 hours.
Or sleep faster.
Or sleep faster.
And it's like, you can like, and that goes back to it is like most people, they do sleep too much. So they're not motivated. They're not inspired. They're missing something in their life. And I see this all the time in what I do too, is people are missing something. And they're like, how do I get that? Like, I really want that feeling that every day I wake up is Friday.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up is Saturday. And I can have freedom to take my kids to school and pick them up from practice and be there with them. Or if I'm just a single dude just getting started.
Yeah. I mean, and then this goes back to like surrounding yourself with the right people. And guys, like a lot of people ask me all the time as a coach, I know Daniel has several stories. I know what he does as in his industry to surround himself with other people, big time. And one of the things I do as a coach, I mean, I was just an Instagram post the other day with Butch Pearson. That guy taught me everything I know as a strength and conditioning coach. I coach with him all the time still. I learn from him all the time. I read books. I coach with other coaches. I learn from even my general manager, who I think is a great coach. I've taken things from him. I take things from everyone because I think I'm not going to be arrogant enough to think I know it all. Because once you think you know it all, you know absolutely nothing.
You're done. Yeah, that goes back to it. Like literally, if I told most people what I spend, and I'm huge on personal development. My brother is like, yeah, you know, he's into it not as much as I am.
I'm not into it at all.
I legitimately spent. Well, you are, but just in a different way.
Yeah,
I spent last year legitimately close to $15,000 attending events, flying to see Tony Robbins. I'm gonna see him again in a couple weeks. I'm reading a lot of books. Attending like literally all around the country to get around people that are operating at a high level, just so I can learn how they're doing it. And I'll take what I want from all of them. Yeah. Like, I don't take everything from everybody. Yeah. But if someone says something or someone's doing something a certain way that I need to learn how to do, I freaking do it. Like I act on it immediately. Otherwise, it's a passing thought. And what happens is most people, they have great thoughts. They think great things. They're like, I have this really good idea, and this is going to be amazing. And if we can just do this with our family. Yeah. But they never act on it. If you never act on it, you never walk into the gym and just say, you know what, fuck it, dude, this is gonna suck. Or I never look at my bank account because I'm scared of what the bills are. Or if I never like really take a hard look at my marriage and say, is this a good marriage? Am I a good parent? What? And you're a strength coach. What doesn't get measured doesn't improve.
That's very true.
Dude, like you literally spend, but your online programming has gotten really big. Yeah. And the reason why I think people like it the most is you actually fucking measure results. You don't just send them a program and say, hey, do this week. You actually like, dude, here's your measurement. Here's where and here's the funny thing, you know where they're going to be in 3 months.
I do. I forecast it out. I know that I'm going to get the PRs. I know it's going to work. I know I'm going to see it. And that's, I don't want to say that's overconfidence. I just know. I know. Yeah, I know it's going to work. It's scientific. Yeah. However, I have had the few results of people that haven't gotten results in that 2 or 3 month span. And I go, those are the best ones. Those are the best ones. Cause you're like, why? Right. Oh, you just gave me a new algorithm I got to solve. Right, so, a reason to improve. Like, what did I do? Where do I got to go? I mean, I got really fired up earlier in the year. I lost a couple athletes. I thought other people were coaching better than me. I felt like maybe I was getting complacent. Yeah, so I was pissed. I was like, what the hell? I'm better than these other coaches that I'm losing these athletes to. I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I read like 4 freaking books about strength and conditioning from I posted on Instagram. Medvedev was one of them. If anyone knows strength and conditioning world, he's a major Russian strength and conditioning coach. And I really like Bob Ducano's book. He wrote a great one. There's several others that I read. And I had this guy, Frank Totello. If you guys know who Frank Totello is, as a weightlifter, he's an up-and-coming weightlifter that's crushing it.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
He's the real deal.
Legitimately, I think, and I was telling you this, and if that, and he's Olympic level, if weightlifting was popular in the U.S. 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, like totally.
His numbers of what that dude's doing he's like 24.
He's 25. 25. And he's only been lifting technically competitive weightlifting for 1 year.
Yeah. So he's done one UCWB. Doing since 10, by far would have been Olympic. Medalist.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. And we're getting there. And I used this new cycle that I created out of reading these freaking 4 or 5 books. I made this cycle, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it to Frank. I'm gonna see, and another athlete of mine, Rocio Ramirez. I'm gonna see what happens.
Well, here's the funny thing about books is most people they stop learning after college. And I used to have this mentality where, I'm so I didn't read anyway.
He didn't buy books in college. This guy, he graduated. He didn't buy a book. He went to one of the best liberal arts schools in the nation. I had 8 books in my backpack. This kid didn't buy a single book.
I had 0 books. I graduated, but it was. I just honestly had no. I think it just wasn't. I just didn't care.
Wasn't engaged.
But I knew I was going to graduate. Yeah. So, but the point is like. People take 20 to 30 years or 15 or 20 years experience and they put it into 2 hours. Yeah. And it's the best that they have. No one puts out a book being like, this will be average. Yeah. Right. They literally put up their best stuff. Yeah. It's so funny. So I started reading books, only like actual books about so what Mike's talking about is like, if you can get from all these different people and then create something, because in the end, we're all creators. We all create something. I don't care if it's strength. I don't care if you're into knitting. I don't give a shit if you're into hunting or if you're into, dude, it's like you're a creator of that. You can create anything you want to create. Yeah. But you do need a specific set of knowledge and you just got to go out and seek it out. And there's so many things out there that are free.
Yeah, free. you know, and these books were given to me. They were as gifts from my mentor, strength and conditioning coaches, like one of them being Butch Pearson. He gave me 3 of the books I read. He handed them to me. These will help you be a better strength coach. And I read them. I remember originally when I looked at them, they were like literally just like numbers.
And here's the thing too: when you lost those athletes, and this is what happens in most things, right? You're going to lose in something, right?
Yeah, you're going to lose athletes.
But you do one of 2 things. You can do one of 2 things. You can get bitter, right?
Yeah.
Or you can get better.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get bitter or you can get better. It's like I don't care. Any champion, any person who's like, I'm going to kick ass. I want to be the best. It's not when they win that things are good. It's when they fail. And when they lose athletes, when they lose a competition, when they lose something.
What Daniel's saying, get better and better, and that's huge. And I've struggled my whole life with, I think, people not understanding how I tick. My brother understands this because I talk to him about it all the time. I don't think people understand how I tick. I don't think they understand me. Blah blah blah. Right. I got pissed. I was mad. I lost some athletes. Yeah, I was a little fired up.
So what do you do?
So what I do, I went and I freaking put myself in a little hermit crab for a little while, and I improved. And all of a sudden, I got these people PRing by 20 kilos in a year on their snatch, and people were like, "What the hell is he doing? What the heck? What's that?"
And that relates to everything, though. So here's what happens, right? If someone like, let's say, dude, their marriage is struggling, it's the same thing, dude. Go see a marriage counselor. Go read a book about how to be a better husband, better wife. Maybe you're missing something. Maybe you're not communicating with your wife well enough. Maybe there's a personality difference there. But if you either get bitter or you get better, most people quit. And here's the thing and that's unfortunate. But they quit on their
most people quit. Most people quit.
They quit on getting better because it is more work.
It is more work, right? and that's a mentality I'm constantly fighting with people, especially athletes I work with, is that quit mentality.
And here's the thing: it's almost like you take a sandbag and you're going to say, "I have this great sandbag. I'm going to fill it up with sand. I'm going to fill the shit out of it with sand." But there's a fucking hole in it, right? So every time you keep filling up your sandbag, right, whether it be mentally, spiritually, physically, in the gym,
pouring out the hole,
financially, right? There's that hole. If you don't learn how to sew that hole up, you're constantly going to have to fill that sandbag up. And what happens is, if you don't have, how do you fill that sandbag up? I'll tell you this right now. It's one thing, and it's emotion. You got to put yourself in an emotional state to say, I'm going to fucking hold.
So hard.
Not logically, I need to sew the sandbag up. It's like, dude, you need to get emotionally sold out on changing your situation in your life. And if you don't, and I had a mentor tell me this, he goes, all right, here's what I did that worked for me. I said, all right, give me some shit, because I have this fucking sandbag that's freaking man. He goes, all right. He goes, take a piece of paper and draw a T chart. Draw a T chart on a piece of paper. Okay. He goes, on this side of the T chart, I want you, let's say your goal's on top or something you want to happen. Let's say I want to improve my relationship with my wife, right? And I say on the left side is, what's going to happen if I do improve my relationship, right? Okay, so, I don't know, we'll stay together. We'll be able to pick up my kids from school more often. I don't know, like we're going to take a vacation. We're going to spend a Valentine's Day together this year. We're not going to argue so much or something like that. The other side of the T chart is if you don't improve it. So let's say we divorce. I see my kids less. Like all the shit that's going to fuck you up emotionally. Because like on this side of the T chart, what happens is me, and this is some Tony Robbins stuff. Tony says people make decisions for one of 2 reasons: to gain some kind of pleasure or to avoid some kind of pain. Most people, like, if I tell you,
they want to avoid pain.
They want to avoid.
They want to avoid pain.
It's like it's like, so it's either one. But at the same time, though, some people are moved towards the positives.
And guys,
right?
Going off on what he's saying, like this is something that I don't think ever gets said.
No,
it's okay to feel beat. For a day.
Yeah.
You know, like we're talking, we're fired up right away. Like I read these books. I was like, I was ready to go. I was fucked up for like a week. I was pissed off. I was like, I want to quit. All those negative mindsets went through my mind. I was like, maybe I just suck. Maybe I'm just not good at this anymore. Blah, blah, blah. And then once I stopped feeling sorry for myself, and you're allowed to feel sorry for yourself. You are. It's okay. Then you say,
but not for a year.
Not for a year. No, for a month. You're allowed that time. You're allowed a specific amount of time to have a bad day, a bad 2 days, and then you say, "Fuck this.
Get up.
Let's go.
Right.
Get up. Answer the bell, man." And that's what I did. And that's what Daniel does. That's what we've always done. That's something we've done since we were kids. We were both very, very good football players. I remember I had a very unique opportunity. I got to coach my brother in college playing college football.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know a lot of brothers get to say that they did that. My brother was an elite free safety in college. I got to be his defensive back coach.
Yeah.
And we would talk going into the senior year. He's like, man, they ain't throwing the ball my way. You know, like they know I'm back there. Am I just not as good as I was last year? I was like, bro, you're better than you were last year. They're avoiding you. every play. But you have self-doubt. It's okay to have self-doubt. Like, am I just not doing the job? No, you are. We're going to win the Skyac again. You're fine. But like I said, I go through it all the time. I talk to my brother all the time. He had a bad day at work. You feel sorry for yourself that day. And then you slap yourself in the face and say, okay, no. Move on. That's hard to do.
But that's life, dude.
That's life.
And that's like the thing is like, you're not going to enjoy everything about what you do all the time. You're not going to enjoy everything about every situation. Like, you're just not. Like, it's almost impossible. But if you can, obviously, like Mike was talking about, is get up when you're down. Like, just decide. Just decide. Like, it's like, there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind.
No.
And a decision, right? And change does not have to happen over 3 months, right? I think people think that, hey, it takes me 3 months to make this decision, or maybe it's going to take me 2 months to do that. And people, they procrastinate. I always tell them, procrastinate later.
Yes.
You don't have time to procrastinate. Yes. And then I tell them this. I say, look, like, if you don't make some kind of decisions can happen instantaneous. Like, instantaneous, I can say I do and I'm married. Instantaneous, I can say fuck you, I'm out, and I'm out. Instantaneous, I can say I quit. And instantaneous, you can quit on struggle and say instantaneously, I'm done with this shit. There's a book called The 5-Second Rule. I forget the author, but she's freaking awesome. She said what she did is she teaches people how to count down from 5. And at one point, she was struggling. She was in her house. She didn't want to leave. It was like she literally was watching Netflix or something for like a month or 3 months or something crazy. And she said, what I did was one day I count down from 5 and I got my ass up out of bed. And that was like a major thing that day, and it was like, but it's like, and the reason why she says count down is if I count up, I can keep counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10. Oh shit, I'm just going to stay here. That's counting down. But like, it's a great book, but it's like, I'm telling you, like, that's kind of decision making is how do I get off? How do I get up? Sometimes you just got to count down from 5 or count down from 3 and just get up. Yeah, you just got to get up. Just start. And like, guys, that's a great note to end on. It's been an awesome first podcast that we've had today. We're going to do one every single week. I think next week we have a pretty awesome guest. Who's our guest next week, Daniel? Our guest next week is seriously one of the most inspirational people I've ever met in my life. And I'm being flat out. I met a lot of professional athletes I've met people with, but this guy, he's done a TED Talk. He's been on, he's done multiple different, literally we had him we had him out at an event in Palm Springs I did early this January, and he moved a lot of people. But he's got an incredible story, an incredible perspective. And he's kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg type of what he did at a young age. And his life's completely changed. We'll talk about that next week. And his name is? Ash Shobi. All right. We're going to meet Ash next week, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our first podcast, Tromello Brothers Power Hour. See you next time.